Hey guys, this is Kirop speaking, and today we are back in the judging of the Mercury, and that is our 6th episode. We have 14 more entries to get through today, and we shall accomplish that for sure. First up, I mean, you need no introduction by now, do you? So, Automation Lite Campaign V3.7. Let's play with Low-E-Tech Sports. This is our third car. Alright, here we go. First up is Mr. Petkov, and we have a neat little car sitting here. Very squarish. This looks more... it's very 80s, the front, or very early, late 70s, more like that. I think the design works. It looks quite neat. Looks quite neat. Nice line down the side, not too large blinkers. Other than that, solid. Very solid. Quite like the back as well. A hint of sportiness in that for sure, with these stripes and so on. Nice badging there on the rear. Not a fan of that in the front. That one sticks out a little too weirdly. So, yeah, overall, I think that is a good design. I think it would be a good design for more the 70s and like mid 70s, late 70s, because of how everything is so square. I mean, you pulled it off nicely. I think this is a good design, maybe even a 6.5, but I don't quite see this fit in 65. Well, it's not coming out in 65. It's coming out in 69. Lol. Yeah. I don't feel it's 6. Hard. 5.5 or 6? Nah, 6. And the picture. Yeah. Also pretty good. You struck a nice balance there for the background. So, because if you have this one with too much depth of field, that means a large F number so that everything is sharp, then this easily turns into a really busy picture and you don't have enough focus on the car. It's not stunning in its lighting or anything, but it's solid. The setup of the cars is nice. And I think this photo accomplishes what it sets out to do. Yeah, I think it's good. This is a pretty boring, good entry. Doesn't stick out that much, but well done. I mean, this is more than solid. And next up is Nalfar. Let's have a look at your design. Yes, okay. Has all the bits and pieces it requires. Blinker here at the front. Nicely broken up lines. Looks like solidly placed as well. This is a little odd with the shape colliding. That this is slightly larger than the line that it leads out to. Either it is not large enough and could have been a round blinker like that, a little larger one, maybe a little bit further to this end, like sitting there, or it could be an exactly inline blinker that doesn't stand out more than the line. Here you are in a kind of weird middle place. But anyway, other than that, I think that is pretty solid. I like the triple light setup and the split grille in the middle with the badging in the middle. Nice. That is looking good. Can't, of course, tell what the rest of the car is doing. Looks pretty basic but solid. I mean, this is not supposed to be ultra fancy, even though some have managed to make it that, and successfully so. Yeah. Is this a solid design? I think this classifies as a solid design. Maybe 5.5. Yeah, 5.5. And now for the shot. Shot. Strong angle. That is a strong angle. And you have the perpendicular angle here. Almost, not quite perpendicular. And it leads to the moon, like the road leads to the moon. Very strong composition in that way. But I think the angle is too much. Like, that's quite harsh. The setup of the car is rather nice. I like that. I think you could have done with less. I don't see... Ah, did you try to make the wheels a... Oh, fuck me. Like, from there to there, that is almost straight. It's still pointing down a little. Maybe if you wanted to make that a flat line, I'm not sure, but... or maybe this line straight? Yeah, I think you could have made this line straight in the picture, but it's not a strong enough line to really warrant this kind of crass setup with the horizon line being there. Yeah, a little too Dutch. A little too Dutch for me. But the lighting is pretty nice. I love the landscape lighting you went for here. This is looking really good. But this needs some love then. This needs some fill flash, and to work out some of the shadings of the car, and the wheels are almost disappearing. Let me try and show what I mean. This is basically impossible to fix in post because of how dynamic range works, and you don't have dynamic range left unless you take the picture in RAW, which you can't in Automation. You need higher bit depth. So let's see if we can make the car pop a little bit more without looking unnatural. Alright, so I tried to put something on there and arrived here, but like I said, it's basically impossible to drag this out of the abyss of dynamic range and make the car pop more, but I think you can see what I mean. Like, the car needed a bit more of proper shading to go on, like more tonalities in the paint so that it looks nicer. And that's usually done in like weird lighting setups. You usually have a diffuse fill flash in there somewhere, or very accurately placed reflectors for the scene so that it all looks proper. Of course, you can't do that in Automation, and even like a professional photo team would yeah, take a while to set that up. Road closures, yo, we don't want those. But anyway, pretty nice shot otherwise. I think this is a... Oh, man. That's probably 5.5 as well. Because, well, it didn't quite work out. It's a little dull looking. The scenery is fantastic, though. I think the scenery overall is... Yeah, you could have worked that out a bit better, like putting more highlights in here and so on. But this is unedited. So, yeah. Anyway, that's a 5.5. But very good effort. There's much... This picture had a lot of potential. So, well done. Oh, and here we go again. Dutch angle. Holy shit, mate. What is going on? The Mercury by Navarra. Well, let's have a look. I just can't overlook the awful use of Dutch angle. It's like, Kenrob is talking about this angling a lot. Let's smash one out there with 45 degrees, because that must be doubly appreciated. No, triply appreciated. No, it isn't. So let me... Fuck, let me just fix that so I can actually judge the car, because this is awful. Let me see. That angle is awful. Can't really see anything there. Image rotation, I guess... Arbitrary, yes. This is an arbitrary one. 45 clockwise, please, and that's almost right. Okay, well, I can judge that. Let's take a look at your design here. Very nicely done on the grill. That is pretty fancy. Is that there a light? And not there? No, that must be a reflection or something. Must be something odd. Anyway, I think you did quite well on this design. This isn't looking half bad. Interesting wiper setup there, wing mirrors, nice, side there, yep, everything in there. Nice line throughout the side, not overly chromy there. And that's some stark eyebrow. I think this is a strong design. Yeah, it's, would have loved to see the rear as well if you have managed to match this, because there's a lot going on in the front section which will be hard to recall on the back. But yeah, this works to me. It's looking pretty good. It's on the busy side. sure is on the busy side, but yeah. That is a... I like it. Also, that little subtle text in there. It's cool. 6.5? Yeah, 6.5. It's pretty good. And now for the shot. Okay. Shit. F you. F you. Okay. There, we have F'd you. I like the scenery. I like the lighting. I hate the angle. How much do I want to deduct for the angle is my real question. That is all that matters right now, because the rest there... I think this is an underappreciated part of the small factory scene. And you found some good evening lighting for this car. Also, good choice that you chose the evening lighting on a red car, because that makes it pop more. Yeah, that's pretty good. This is one of those instances where you make use of the very deep depth of field. So large F number, have everything sharp, because there's so much lines and textures going on, which really fits the car. Like, it has its grill there. There's basically the grill everywhere. It's everywhere. And that works. I like it. Okay, so how much... Oh, shit. How much do we want to deduct for that awful use of the Dutch angle? Like, how... Okay, you ask, okay, but what is the correct amount? Well, that very much depends on the picture. And I think a picture with such strong lines... Well... There is nothing that is aligning with the new horizon, or with the new normal line. That is what is pissing me off about this. There's no reason for making this angle. Absolutely no reason. So I think I'm going to deduct from a little bit of Dutch angle. Maybe 15 degrees or something would have been okay, instead of 45. Because you can make it look a little bit more dynamic that way. And it needs to be more than like 4 or 5 degrees, because otherwise it just looks like you're awful at handling the camera. I think this is going from a 7 down to a 6. Yeah, the lighting is too good for it to not be a 6. Alright, a 6. This could have been more. Please use the Dutch responsibly. This is not acceptable. And here we go with the Mercury by OME. 1 round 2. So let's have a good look at you, sir. Lots of little ones in this one. Yes. Some odd-ish angles going on here. I assume that headlight angle of this one looks completely natural from a front perspective, while it doesn't necessarily from this angle, where it's a little odd looking. And we had rally lights. It's also odd. It's an oddball design, but quite well executed. Love the lines along the sides and rear. Again, nice logo in there. And this looks fantastic overall. This setup here on the rear, very nicely done. This looks premium. Like, this bit starting, like all this looks quite premium. I really like that. The front I don't think is as strong. Yeah. Okay, so what do I think? The sides and rear, at least a 7. The front, it's interesting. Looks more like... when I look at the front, I'm expecting a wagon for some reason. I can't put my finger on what it is. Front, still interesting. It's an interesting front, a 6. So, overall... Yeah, I think we can give you a 7 for this. because I really like what you did with the rear. It's so clean and just, nice looking. Yeah. Okay. 6.5 or 7? 7. Okay. Picture. Cool idea. I love the different colors in here. And you've chosen a palette that works with the lighting as well. So that's good. None of these cars really sticks out too much. But yeah, it's more of a look at the whole picture thing. And I think the eyes led nicely through the image. There's lots to discover. Quite neat that you have this effect of the of this structure in here. That adds to the image, and it's blurry enough and soft enough so that it doesn't upset the image. What does upset the image a little bit is this very bright area, because it drags the eye away from the cars that should be the heroes of this image. Yeah, I think this is a good idea. It is pretty well executed. And I think the picture gets a... Yeah, it's not very good, but it's a 6.5. So that is well done overall. Nice. And the next one is by Storminator. Is that how? Storminator. Yes. Alright. Alright. Oh, that is a little bug-eyed here. The rear, but alright. The front, yeah, a little basic looking maybe. I'm not a fan of this grille here having the lines continue on there with that severity. It looks clunky to me. And also they look slightly offset. Yeah, that might be perspective or something, but they don't look like they're quite fit. So I would have gone with a different style of grille, but definitely this background color that is now overlaid by the red, that would have been nice to put in here. And maybe something on the hood or anything that kind of leads further down. You've nicely put in these vents down here. Not sure if anything is needed there, but double sideline, and it seems to be working reasonably well. On the rear you have that there, it seems. Some interesting badging going on there. Not a fan of these. They seem way too large, but you made them fit in with the grille, just like at the front. So it's a design recall from the front, which is good, but I think these look alright. Other than that, yeah, pretty good. I think the front is weak. It's still solid. Sides are good. Front is probably a little worse than solid. And the rear is solid. So overall, it's a solid design. You get a 5. And the shot itself, yeah, I'm not so sure. You utilize some of the good stuff, like you have a nice line through the image of what tells a story of where this is coming from. Although it's not really clear, because we're at the origin of the car is very far towards the end here, without it being a super clear direction. It's more wavy than this, and that's hard to grasp with so little movement in the shot going on. Yeah, it doesn't look like this car is moving much, and I know it probably is, because of what the rest of the scene is looking like, but a bit more speed might have worked out, or some, not sure. The lighting is okay, not great. So overall, I think this is a bit mediocre. I think it has good elements in it, and I like the composition, or between, like the ratio between these cars and the placement of these cars. That's working out. So 5.5. This is decent. But yeah, could have been better. And here we go with Sky High. Let's have a look at your design. Oof, okay. This is looking quite premium. That front looks like it makes the car look more than it really is. Although there is quite something under the hood, and its weight makes it quite a bit more than it is. Yeah, other than that, let's see. So the front, really stark, strong grille design. And I don't know why you put red blinkers or something in the front. And then these are, I assume, fog lights, and these are the blinkers. Little odd? Why did you choose the... are these... maybe this is some kind of color shift going on, that these actually are orange and... no, this looks more orange there. But these look a bit more yellow than blinkers. I'm a little confused here, sir. I think the design, like just the shapes, if we made this completely black and white, I think the shapes are working for the front. I like the headlights in relationship to that, the hood scoop and all the design elements that are on here. I think it's a unique design, and I think that is more than just good. The sides seem basic and functional enough, and not much I can tell from here. But overall, I think this is good. Or is it a little bit more? For uniqueness that works. Uniqueness that works is always something. No, I think you make it look good through the image, and not necessarily through design. So it's a 6. And now the design, no, not the design. Carob. Now the photo. Pretty good. A little much on the steering angle here, I would think. Looks quite aggressive. Like, look at me, I can turn my head 180 degrees. Like, oh no, please don't do that. And that is not from side to side, but from front to rear. Yes, so that is a little much. I like the motion and the curves you've set up here. Maybe the wrong... maybe a little bit... I of course haven't seen what it looks like without the gradient filter on. Well, I think it might be better without it. Not quite sure. Anyway, so nice setup here from the... compositionally this really works, because what is going on here is that this road comes around this way, hits the car, and then the car goes back this way. So you're really covering almost all the frame with the movement in it, and that keeps the eye wandering through the frame for a long time. It's an interesting composition. That really works. I like it. Yeah, otherwise lighting, good. Nice reflections on the side. Good overall, a little orange here, but that might be also because we are talking about a lot of steering angle. So overall, I think the shot is quite good. More than just good. I think this is very good. Yeah, composition is there, lighting is good. Very solid. Good stance. So yeah, 7. And next up is Slyo from Pluto. Let's F you. There we go. Alright. And there. There's not much sharp in this image. Okay, design. From what I can tell, little awkward lines here down the side. With this close-up, of course, you see the flaws in it a lot more. That's not to your advantage, good sir. And that is an interesting grille setup here in the front. I quite like the novelty of it. I think it works. I would have liked to see more frontal view of this. Maybe this has gone a little far and one row could have been removed, because it does seem to be rather busy. You're hiding a bit of that because of the depth of field effect. But yeah. Alright, I quite like it. It's a little bit of an oddball. Certainly makes it look like a small car with this light setup. which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a little too cutesy, maybe. Sides looking okay. Somewhat, somewhat subtle there. It's not massively black or something. The vents coming out there looks pretty standard. Otherwise, has all the elements. I think it's I quite like this, especially how a blinker is then taking a slot of these. I think that alone, with the overall being a solid design and all, and the branding, very nice. That's a 6. The picture itself, it is impactful, but I would have liked to see more of the car. This has the depth of field of a detail shot, but there is no focus on any detail, really. So there's a bit of a mismatch in technique versus composition. I very much like the composition of the image. It has everything going for it from that perspective. Like the framing of the car is really nice like this. See this? This is basically acting like a frame for the car. That works. And yeah, I think you've found a really nice setup. It's just the camera settings I would try to adjust a bit more. The lighting seems okay, alright. At least alright. Gives some nice contrast and so on. So overall, I think this is, apart from, well, the depth of field is not giving you any bonus points here, rather the opposite. I think despite the depth of field effect, that is way overdone, this is a good shot. And with the depth of field being a bit more appropriate, I think this could easily have been a 7, or maybe even more. Let's put in a 6.5. So I think this could have been more than a 7 even. I don't want to punish you too hard for the depth of field. It was just overdone. And really make sure you focus on something that is relevant. Alright, let's move on. And next up is Smon Smithy. And we have a... okay. Ah, that one again. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool badging, yo. They're aggressive looking. Somehow this is German looking. I don't know why. Maybe the double headlight thing reminding me of BMW or something. Anyway, other than that, looks like it's got everything it needs. I'm not wowed by it, apart from its aggressive look. The rear is looking decent as well. A little thin, a little weak on the rear. Side's good. Yeah, like the striping. Overall, a pretty good design. The rear is dragging it down with being that weak. And I can't really put it down that much. 5.5 or 6? You have everything in place, don't you? Yeah. I think it's nicely crafted too. There's some good stuff in here. These all align properly. Like this stuff aligns properly. These align at the joints and so on. There's a lot of craftsmanship in this. What I'm not a fan of is the reflections of this here. That might be due to a morph. But anyway, okay, let's put it as a 6. The image really flat and odd. I think this is odd lighting. Maybe it is because of the motion blur. Is there motion blur going on in this? Yeah, there is. And this is odd because this car is going that way, and this car is going that way. So where's the motion blur, really? Which car is being motion blurred here? None of them. But the scenery is. Or maybe is this a composite image? Let me see. Is this an edited one? No, this is unedited. So no. That is odd. I don't know if that effect is desired or not. But it's looking odd. And I think this is very flat looking as an image. So I'm not a fan of that. The composition is odd as well. This car is very close to driving off. And this here is, like, look, damn it. I'm not very straight drawing today. This has that part of the frame basically was delineated as that part of the frame. And it's not much. Where is it going? It's going there. From here to there. That is also not much distance. If the road was going more obviously than that, was going like whoosh, up to the sun, you could see it, then that would be quite a bit stronger. But it doesn't, so it doesn't quite work. Yeah, I don't like the directional stuff here. It doesn't quite work out for you. And the flat lighting is looking a bit boring. It's odd, and yeah, is it solid? Nah, maybe probably a 4.5. 4.5 or even no, a 4. That's a 4. Oh, I'm getting blind. Oh shit. Oh mate, it's late in the evening. I can't be looking at too harsh of colors and contrasts. It's too much for me. That is trigger fin. Oh, I got triggered here for sure. So let's look at your design. Hey, your design doesn't trigger me all that hard. I like this stuff on the side. Nifty. Looks very, I'm a little racer car. Not so sure about the choice of wheels though. They look, yeah, I don't know. They are a little too attention drawing. The front looks very muscle car. It looks like you took some muscle car inspiration right there. Very aggressive hood scoop, all the vents and just going for it. A little unfitting for this small car like this. I think Esdom did a better job at being aggressive without overly trying to simulate I'm a muscle car. But it's still not a bad design. It's not a bad design. Is it a good design? I think you overdid it there. And what is this? There's a massive thing there. I think there's too much going on here. It's too hefty looking. And you also have some kind of wing down here, or lip you've placed. It's odd as well. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the design. I think it's over-designed. The rear, I'm not a fan of. There's large text. This was a pain in the ass to place and stuff, but it doesn't work for me. So what is this? I think it has still lots of solid, more than solid elements. It has lots of good elements, but the sum of them is less than good. I think I can't give you more than a 5 for that. The image, okay, super high contrast. I think you need to rein that in a little. One positive thing I want to point out is that there is a boring sky, but the balance is right. There's no dick in the sky painting going on here, because the cars are high enough in the frame and the horizon is high enough in the frame to counterbalance the really emptiness up there. It's fine. I don't quite like the colors because you've cranked up the contrast too much. They don't look natural anymore, and not in the landscape either. So I'm just going to go with a few little adjustments and see what comes out. Alright, let's have a quick before and after. Oh man! Holy shit, that was a big difference. So yeah, this is before and this is after. I've tried to neutralize the extreme contrast a bit. Try to make the colors better fitting in the scene and so on. Not sure if I succeeded. Not sure if you agree that I have succeeded. But if we take a look at this version, then I think especially this car looks so much better now than that. Yep, you can comment below if you agree or not. But yes, so that is a. Oh, the composition was good. The colors were awful. I think that is a 5. Oh, there was one of these. Yeah. You, sir, I know you're new to the competition and stuff, but watch your damn submissions, because that is not how I wanted to have them delivered. And I think I renamed yours as well to make more sense. So anyway, you get the first time leeway here, but next time I will subtract points for weird stuff. Not that this image is scoring too high anyway, but let's look at the big void that is this. Oh, the stare. The stare of oblivion. Holy shit. That looks dead. That looks so dead. Ugh. Don't want to be followed around by that car. Nah, not working for me. Really not working for me because of that. Quite simple design otherwise, but yeah, I mean, somewhat workable. So the shapes, it doesn't give me the right vibes for the era. I think this is pretty weak. So, 3. And the picture. Okay, we are going to disregard the fact that this is completely the wrong resolution. And there is a little bit of direction in this one. Not that much. Whoa. My lines have become very thin because the resolution is so high. Yeah, I don't really see it doesn't feel like it's moving properly. Maybe because of the weird angle that this car is angled towards the line and the wheels are pointing away from it as if it's drifting or something. But everything else just seems out of focus instead of blurred through speed. It doesn't give me a sensation of speed at all. It looks very static, this image. And I'm not sure what you were going for here with this. But overall, I mean, there is some direction to the image. And the background is not too busy, because you have blurred it out a bit, which is good. Is this a nice touch or not? Yeah, probably. Could be used for something. But overall, also, I think the picture is a little on the weak side. It's not terrible. The lighting is nice on the side, and then very flat here. I think you could have found a better situation for this car, a better place to be in. Anyway, 4. And next up is Zodia Auto. And we have a look here. Double FU. And we go for the design first. Headlight look works. They look a little droopy and a little sad, but not much. That's on the acceptable end of the scale. And some basic line down the middle. The grille seems misplaced. As in, not the actual position of the grille, but rather the choice of the base design doesn't quite catch me here. The logo in there quite weak. This is an odd case of, okay, you've placed the logo down in the middle, but the logo is actually darker than the rest around it, which means that you see it as a whole, not as a logo or the branding. The sides seem solid. Nothing special there. The rear, not a fan. This doesn't pop out at all. That's probably because of the lighting, though. Design recall from the front. I think that works. Slightly large on the tail light, on the brake light. The branding here works better because of the light. It's placed on this black plate. Yeah, I mean the color is shit, like literally, but there's more about the photo. Let's get to that very soon. Yeah, overall I think this is it's a little less than a solid design. Has some elements going for it, but not that great. Is it a 4? Yeah, I think it's a 4. Oh, there's a line down there. 4.5. So now for the image. Okay, I think this image is shit. Like, no, it's not that bad. It's not like a 2 or 1 or something. No, it's not that bad. But it's quite shit. The color is just awful. Yes, I know 70s and stuff and brown, and 60s, late 60s and brown. They love their brown. But man, that doesn't make for a good photo, does it? and I think you can really tell it's shit. And don't put a mountain of shit in the background if you're taking a photo of a heap of shit. Like, can we recolor this or something to red? Like, I don't know, or yellow? That would pop so much. Maybe even blue. I don't know. But yeah, don't like it. Otherwise, the composition is quite acceptable. That's not too bad. But man, the choice of colors and nah, it doesn't work. So while I do have to say I appreciate the way you placed the car and how you framed it and so on. This is looking pretty good. If I subtract all the other things that make this image not work, then that is really good. But you get a 4 for that. And next up is Zorka. And you have a... Yeah, that's the correct size. Cool. Looks a little pixely and stuff. Not quite sure. What is going on here? That is a photo thing. Anyway, design on the front. Yeah, it works. Doesn't... Oh, I don't like that shape there. It looks so sharp. But in an ugly way. You do have all the elements that are making for a good design, potentially, if used responsively. But I like the line around the whole car. That really works well. That's a plus. The grille set up in the front, it's hard to tell. I think this droop and then sharp edge might not be the best of ideas. Okay. Yeah. I think it's the rear does. Nah, the rear doesn't work. That is not subtle enough for the lettering. Massive letters. It's a little weird. No number plate there? Why did you choose to not put a number plate on there? Usually that fills it out nicely, and you can definitely see there's something missing here. This looks like oh. I can paint some teeth into it. Oh, holy shit! This car looks awful now. What have you designed? Look at it. It's going to eat you. Yeah, now we take out its teeth, so it becomes harmless. Nah, not a fan. Especially not of the rear there. But it has some solid elements to it. Or more than solid, even good elements. With the consistent lining around it and so on. Too much that doesn't work on it, though. So I think this is a 4 for design. The image. Hello! Whom do we have here? I am the great dick in the sky. Hello. Yes. Just all over the rear of your car. That's no, it's not that great. There's no way it would have done that. But yeah, it is a bit of a stretch to have. Basically, this area. Look at this. You have this area, this, and this basically says absolutely nothing. So, okay, how much percentage of the image have you used for compositional gain? It's basically just that. It almost looks better with my drawing on it. This is one of those pictures. Do you see what I mean, though? I mean, this is a little bit of a hyperbole, but still. My framing I just did gives this picture more purpose. And that's not a good thing to happen to tell a photographer. Like, my picture needs to be framed to work. Like, nah, then you haven't taken a good picture, mate. That's not good. So, yeah, use that space a bit better. I think the lighting is decent. You've worked out some details. I especially like the lighting and contrast on the front. And the rear gets a little muddy, but the side is pretty awesome, actually. So, apart from the awfulness of the lack of proper direction and great dick in the sky and the ground, this is a little solid shot. But overall, with this, maybe a 4.5? 4.5. And next up is George M997. And let's open that up. That looks like a car from the late 80s? Early 90s? Maybe? Am I wrong about that? That looks so modern. I don't know why. I think you made it look like a bit of an SUV. Micro SUV. It's definitely not that. Like the rear doesn't look like an SUV, but the front you made look like some kind of more like off-roady styled or utility styled vehicle. I don't think that fits in design. Other than that, ooh, yeah, and you have massive tires on there. Are these just massive or is the car tiny? Can't tell. Rear, the stack of taillights separated a bit too much, maybe. There's a lot going on with the horizontal lining you have, and you don't have that on the front. I think the rear is a bit too busy, and the front has an identity crisis. Doesn't quite know where to place things. Very, very square, and some nice elements, but also then round rally lights or something. Maybe this is also something that is making me think of utility. I don't quite think the design works. The execution is okay, but not more, and the design just doesn't fit. So yeah, let's go with a 3.5. But now the image. Actually, I quite like the colors that you chose. They are a bit over the top, but they work because you do have plenty of yellowish, orangey colors, warm colors in the image from the scene, and then the blue, like deep blue car on it, and it makes it pop a lot. This effect, this super strong highlighting effect, I think that draws the eye properly to a pretty good place in the image, because you have both of these cars very close to it, of course, and the eye can wander from there. There's plenty to go around on, so the image itself, not bad, mate. That is solid stuff. A little over the top, like I said, but I think the image itself is probably a 6. Oh yeah, one thing to point out, the overlap here, it's not ideal, because the cars are flowing into each other too much. But yeah, I think it's still overall a 6. And here, why is this image last? It was submitted in a slightly weird way. It's the Mercury from America. From America. And it's the user is called Automation. No, it's not. The user is not called Automation. Why can't you submit your images right? Okay, I'm going to judge this as it is. It's the Mercury in Automation. All right, so let's have a look. The design. F that. There we go. Side exhausts. Lots going on in the front. Yeah. Not necessarily a fan of. Well, that's probably more an artifact of the photo itself. Aliasing or something going on there. White mirror. That's a ballsy move to use that, or a potato PC move. I can't tell. The front design, not bad. Yeah, not bad. The wheels are sticking out a lot. Don't think that is necessarily a nice looking choice for this car. But other than that, I think the front works. A little busy. Overall, a little busy. And the sides, nah, that's too busy. It's trying too hard. This setup can work, but that more looks like hypercar-esque or like supercar. And the side exhaust, nah. So overall design, yeah, more like a 4. I think it has some nice elements to it, but is it a 4? Yeah, I think so. The front does have some promise to it, still, despite it being busy and so on. And the car seems complete overall. The rear is looking like it could be pretty nice. Hard to tell though. And what do we think about the photo? Yeah, okay, cool. I think I would have composited this image, or at least, you probably should have used an insane F number so that this is in focus as well. This is the point where you use F16 or something crazy like this. Don't go too far in reality though, because that would mean that you lose actual resolution on the camera because the opening gets too small, and that makes the light diffuse, and that makes unsharp images or less resolution, less maximum resolution. The optimal F number for sharpness usually depends on lens, but is typically found around, for the center of the frame, around 4.0 to 5.6, and for the corners of the frame around f7.1 to 8.0. That is like rule of thumb for somewhat modern equipment. But yeah, that is a little bit of a shame. The lighting otherwise seems somewhat interesting, low on the reflection. But one thing I want to point out here, how automation is that I want to try and mirror your image. So flip horizontal, and now let's take another look. Do you see how different the image looks if I just shift this around? Do you know why that is? I think you by now know why that is. And I think this version looks stronger. That is because we are reading it from left to right, unless of course you're from an Asian culture and they are reading the other way. But most people watching this, I would assume, are reading from left to right. And this has the effect that you get into the image, reach the rear of the car, you're following through with the line here, you reach the front of the car, which is a direction. The car goes towards its front. So this image has a much stronger direction than this one. Because here you arrive and it's like bam, car, and then bam, front. But then you go this way again and bam, car, and then bam, front, and then bam, car, and then bam, front. Okay, when are we finally going to see this? No, I'm of course overdoing that a little bit. That's not quite how it works, but I think I make a point here that is valid. Can we redo it, please? No, we can't? Alright, fuck that then. I think the other way works better, and that is something to think about when you're composing those shots. Maybe this is deliberate, I don't know, but that's just a hint. I think the other way works better. So I think we're done here. Oh no, wait a second, I need to give this elusive HAL automation a score as well. I think the image is a solid shot. It's a 5. Could have been better, could have been worse. And maybe mirroring it I would have given a 5.5. That's a little nuance. Maybe with better execution a 6. Doesn't matter. So that means we are done for this third round of judging. And what does that mean? We have a winner, and that is, again, Esdom, with a fantastic entry. That is so good. Well done, sir. That is a total of 16.5, unheard of in this competition so far. 8 for the design and 8.5 for the shot, but there was room for more. That was left on the table. The unedited version would have gotten you 17 points. So, something to think about. We have discussed the image. It's superb. Really well done. That's first place there. Second place goes to not Infinity, Endfinity, with 14.5 for a great shot and a really weird but working design. And that's just such a nice composition there. I really like it. You made, I think this is, this is such an artsy photo though. Like, that has developed. I really like the story behind this shot specifically, after I criticized you last time for there not being any element there, and now you've delivered. And look at how it works. It's beautiful. So second place there, that was a 6.5 for the design and an 8 for the shot. Great shot. And then we have OME in third place after winning the last category with 13.5 points. And let's drag up your image. There we have it. Yeah, that is a deserved podium. Very nicely done. This image has a lot of character. I love it. Anyway, it has flaws. Yes, it has flaws, but I still quite like it. Really like it, actually. So, yeah, third place there. Well done, guys. And I shall send out the email once again. And I hope you're participating in the next round. And I hope you enjoyed. And see you guys next time.